Hello, one and all, and welcome to Cyberwits. But it's not quite Cyberwits. Welcome, one and all, to the Otaku Basement, and I promise I will eventually get that pronunciation right. This is basically the interview segment of the Cyberwits. You know, there is no cracker like a Cyberwits cracker, and I am your scoffer Time Lord, aka Matt. What are we going to do on this segment? Well, basically, I just want to chit-chat with you. Yeah, you. You know, you people listening, you lot listening there. On the Facebook group, we have a sign-up. If you want to take part, all you have to do is locate that particular section of the Cyberwits Facebook group. And basically, you comment and you say, me, I want to take part. And if you've got working Skype and we have the ability to chit-chat, we will. And we're basically going to riff on as we go along. And thankfully, the person that I have shanghaied and put in the basement this month is a chap that technically co-founded this particular subsection of the oil house. It's a guy who actually came and DM'd me and said, why don't we do something like this? Introduce yourself.
Well, thank you for letting me out of my box here in the basement. I mean, there was only like a few crumbs from those crackers you were offering. Hello, it is me, Jake. And so I was like, yeah, let's get something sorted with a couple of fans, see their kind of like anime history, because we all have different ways we've come into being fans of anime, manga, and tokusatsu, and all those wonderful things from Japan.
Absolutely. And to be honest, it was something that I was considering for a little while, and I think you gave the final push, as it were. So why don't we do something where you chat to the fans and get their takes in? And I thought, you know what, that's a damn good idea. Let me steal it from you. And so I went to my boss, Grufflock, and he thought it was a brilliant idea. And so here we are. So yeah, yet again, this is the podcast, the little section of the Cyberwits podcast where I get to chat to the listeners. We're going to possibly do one a month. So far I've got quite a few sign-ups. I think there's about 5 or 6 of you now on the group, although I may well Shanghai a few people as well, because I can see some really good conversations coming along with certain people I can envision in my head, but I kind of want to get a hold of them first. I know who they are. You lot won't. I'll leave that to a surprise if they say yes. But there's some guys that are not necessarily, they haven't necessarily been a part of Oil House podcasts in the past. But I want to get a hold of them. There may be a Canadian amongst them, so listen out for it. But, however, I digress. We're basing this on 3 basic premises. It's keeping it simple. The interview style comes with 3 simple questions. How did you first come into anime? What are you watching now? And, a 3rd section, which I can see is going to be very, very interesting, which we'll get to in a bit. But, first off, Jake.
Yes, sir.
Introduce yourself. What do you do? Where are you dwelling in the internet? Usually people keep that last in the show, but you know what? Let's get to know you.
Well, I've dabbled in a few things. I've been a part of a few podcasts. I am a big fan of anime, comics, and those lovable transformable robots. And through the years, I've been on various websites and done various art projects, but I'm more into cosplay now. And if you want to check out some of my costumes, you know, just mess about with some silly costumes and that. Nothing like that, sir. Keep it clean. It's a family show. It's at Jake's Cosplay Contraptions on Facebook. It's got a collection of some costumes you don't really see at conventions, because I want to see costumes of some of my favorite characters. So if you love Zoidberg, if you love Mumra, if you love Batmite, those are the types of characters that I cosplay as. At the moment, working on a Joker costume for the London Super Comic Con. So if you're around London on the 14th and 15th of March, get yourself down to the Excel Centre, see some great comic artists, including Neil Adams. Yes, one of the Batman comic artists as well. As thousands of people going, great costume contest. So see you guys there.
That's pretty cool. Batmite, I saw your Batmite, and I'll tell you what, Batmite was batshit mental. There's a picture out there. Just look it up. You're stood next to Stan Lee. It's the wrong guy for starters. He stood next to him as Batmite, and you could see. I swear though, I think Stanley just keeps that smile as like a. He must have had some kind of plastic surgery where his face is permanently etched as that smile. But you can see a little glint. And it's like, this guy's nuts.
Oh, trust me, on that day, I was not the only one in a weird costume. I had my mate Andy, he was dressed as like the Hulk. It was in a massive Hulk costume. He's got a Facebook group, Stay Puft Cosplay. Check out his stuff. He does amazing like giant foam suits, including a nice collection of giant benders. Now, that is actually Bender from Futurama and all the different versions, but amazing stuff.
Oh man, let's move away from that to the realm of anime, but pretty much let's go to the beginning of how you and me first got into communications with one another. I think it was about 5 or 6 years ago. It was near enough my first or second year of doing YouTube reviews, and I decided to start reviewing each of the Dragon Ball franchises.
Yes.
And I don't know if they're still online. They may have been taken. I don't know. I don't check my own stuff these days. But I remember it turned into a bit of a YouTube comment back and forth between me and you, which then escalated into a YouTube back and forth, which also involved karaoke at one point. Because another thing I used to do is I can't do it now because of the copyright crap and I'm a partner. So it's like, naughty, Matt, naughty, you can't have that. I slap your wrist. Or known as flag your videos. I used to do a bunch of stuff while I mimed to a TV theme tune. And I think I did a couple of the Dragon Ball theme tunes. And then you did the actual karaoke right back.
Yeah.
And I think this turned into a stalemate, which Toya over that, what was the Dude Wait What Comics podcast, capped it all off with him literally singing the Fist of the North Star theme. It was like, okay, sir, you win, we stop. That was quite an interesting time, but it meant it was good. We actually chit-chatted about Goku and all of that. So I suppose we can start there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Dragon Ball Z is one of the main animes that really got me into liking all the different shows I've seen over the years. I mean, first time I saw it, I'm going to take it back in time. Time travel arms. 2000. Year 2000.
Yeah.
It's 4 a.m. in a Best Western hotel in San Francisco. Unfortunately, the time difference really affected our sleep patterns, and we were waking up at like 4 a.m. every time we were like that week in San Francisco. And the TV had Kids WB channel, and from that, I saw a show of people in orange gis training to fight these oncoming threat from outer space. And there was one guy chasing a monkey for some reason, and I was like, "Oh my god, I love this show! What is this? What is this?" And they were like, "It's Dragon Ball Z." I was like, yes, the intro, dragon, rock the dragon. Like, everything about it was amazing. Saying that, I only ever saw one episode while I was out in America. And from that, you kind of try to make up your own ideas. Okay, he's Gohan, he's Goku's son, okay. But what about all these guys training on this big platform? There's a guy with scars all over his face. He must be one of the main characters. I bet he's like Goku's evil brother. Turned out to be Yamcha, and my assumptions were all wrong. But that was that. And then I came back to England, and it was like a couple of months later. And then that's when Toonami kicked in, where you had Dragon Ball Z, you had Gundam, you had Tenchi every afternoon. Oh, waiting for that Dragon Ball Z to come up. Because Gundam and Tenchi are amazing. But Dragon Ball Z, that was the main hook for that little block. And the amount of times I had arguments with my parents, like saying, no, can we have tea later? I want to watch Dragon Ball Z.
Well, that was the thing, wasn't it, for Cartoon Network? A lot of their programming block actually happened straight after school time, or college time for me, but school time for you, I'm guessing yourself and anybody around the age of about mid-20s, they would have been in school back in the day. It was interesting times. I take it we've now diverged to the beginnings of Young Jake and anime here.
Yes.
Oh, man, that was a lovely segue, because I was going to lead into how did you first come to anime. But so your earliest memories then of anime, what shows did you like?
Well, I mean, obviously, the Toonami block itself, you had Dragon Ball Z, Tenchi Muyo, and Gundam Wing. And that was that for the moment. And then came CNX. And with CNX, you got Cowboy Bebop, you got Outlaw Star, you got Big O. And then Fox Kids started showing anime, didn't they? And unfortunately, you did get some stinkers like 4Kids bringing in Shaman King.
A lot of 4Kids stuff. No, 4Kids filtered into Cartoon Network as well, because I'm pretty certain Cartoon Network first aired the One Piece.
Ah, yes.
Original English dub. Yeah, let's not talk about that. Super Soakers and Lollipops. Oh, dear.
Yeah. But also they had, I remember one anime series called Shinzo on Fox Kids, and it was a bit weird because I was like, this is like Monkey, but it's a cartoon. And
are you talking about Shin-Chan?
Oh no, like Shinzo. Right. It was, and when I looked into it, 'cause that's when the internet came about as well. It was basically an anime that was based off Journey to the West. So you had someone like Monkey, a bit like Son Goku, you had a big yellow cat, and then a water demon that was protecting this lady who was trying to get to this like mystical land.
So totally Monkey then. Apart from a piglet, you got a cat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Never heard of it. I don't recall ever seeing that.
Yeah, it was one of those shows on Fox Kids that was either on at like god awful times in the morning or like 10 o'clock at night, along with things like Techno Man and Eagle Riders. Oh
man, Techno Man and Eagle Riders are two shows I've never seen. I've seen Techno Man Blade because I took part in a fan dub for Techno Man Blade. I don't think I actually passed the audition. And if I did, I didn't see the finished product properly, but I saw clips of it. But that's about as close as I got to Techno Man. Eagle Riders I just dismissed immediately because it was just another dub of Gatchaman, and I think I had my fill with Battle of the Planets, which is a fun show in its own right. When you take it on board, it's totally stupid. I still prefer Gatchaman. But yeah, carry on.
But yeah, like this is where TV went over to the internet, because it was like that was when we first got the internet in the house as well. And there were websites like Pojo.com that would list it was the most badly designed website when you look at it now, of like endless links and links, hyperlink, of all the characters in Dragon Ball to Dragon Ball Z to Dragon Ball GT. And so this was like before I knew that there was an actual structure. I thought it was all Dragon Ball Z first and then the rest of the stuff. Yeah. And this was also back before GT actually had a proper synopsis. Yeah. And the only images of Dragon Ball GT were a shot of Super Saiyan 4 Goku, a screenshot of Goku and Vegeta as Super Saiyan 4, and Bulma looking at Bebe Vegeta. And those were the only screenshots I ever found when I was trying to research like Dragon Ball GT. And then with the internet, it exploded into other anime series.
So you could say that that Dragon Ball was pretty much your gateway into anime. Did you see any kind of shows prior to Dragon Ball that you didn't know was anime at the time?
Yeah, I mean isn't Mysterious Cities of Gold an anime?
It is a hybrid. It was animated in Japan, and it was a French production, from what I understand. The French definitely shilled a lot of money into it. They certainly have in the second season. That's all French. Right. From what I understand. But the first season, it was one of those weird hybrids between Europe and Japan, kind of like Ulysses 31. That's another one. And I think Captain Future as well was another hybrid. I certainly remember that when I was in France, I saw episodes of Captain Future when I was there. And that was an old cartoon by then. We're talking 2007, and they had episodes of Captain Future on the telly. But yeah, it was, just to go back, yes, that was a hybrid show.
Yeah, I mean... don't really think of any others. I mean, obviously Transformers, but that was like brought over dubbed into English anyway. So
yeah, not necessarily the first 3 seasons of Transformers. It was the other way around. It was, and essentially an American show that was animated either in Japan or Korea, depending on who was handling the animation. And then it got ported over to Japan, where they then put their own dub over it. So it's kind of one in one hand and in the other, because it was essentially an American TV show which used imported Japanese toys, which in turn then got imported over to Japan, and then Takara sort of changed it into the super robotic lifeform transformer line. So it was kind of bounced from Japan to America, which caught on, which then went back to Japan and caught on massively. So it was essentially an American cartoon up until the so-called season 4, where Japan then went, oh, screw that, we're carrying on. And that's where you got your Headmasters, Master Force, and Victory.
Yeah.
So there you go. Bit of knowledge for young Jake there.
Thank you, sir.
So, I mean, for me, there was stuff that I kind of had an inkling wasn't completely American, because the quality of it was different. Like, again, the Mysterious Cities of Gold, Ulysses 31. There was another one called Thunderbirds 2086. And then, of course, Samurai Pizza Cats, which...
Oh, yeah, Samurai Pizza Cats. I forgot about that.
Which we will be talking about in the second episode of Cyberwits when we get around to recording that, because that's going to be translation triumphs and tragedies. So that's going to be quite a hot topic when we get to that. But so stuff like that you must have known. You must have some kind of an inkling there. Certainly with me, it was like Power Rangers. When you saw the footage, whenever they were in the suits, you kind of went, hang on, something's a bit off here. Why is it suddenly stupendously grainy? So pretty much anime. Are you into tokusatsu at all?
Not really. It's basically anime and manga that I've really kept an eye on. Really, I've never really seen any tokusatsu or any kind other than, I'm guessing, Power Rangers and Mars Rider. Yeah. Although because I'm a fan of One Piece, I really liked what are the Pirate Rangers? Are they Geki Rangers or?
No, Geki Rangers was the Animal Spirits Rangers. Gao Kaija. Yeah. Was it Tokusu Sentai? No, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that. But Go Kaija is basically the pirate Sentai. Yeah, that was pretty fun. I need to talk to the right person when it comes to that particular branch of tokusatsu. Hey, Moon, if you're still up for that. So we pretty much covered your early days when it came to anime. Any particular standouts? Obviously, let's take Dragon Ball out of the picture for now. Was there any kind of secondary anime that really hooked you in at that point?
Well, I would have to say it would, if we jump ahead into 2004, 2005, when I finally got the Sci-Fi Channel, and they started showing anime at 1 in the morning on a Thursday, and then repeat it on a Sunday on the kind of flagship show Psycho Exciting of Neon Genesis Evangelion and Martian Successor Nadesco.
We talked about that in the first Cyberwits podcast as well. It was in the morning. It was at about 9 o'clock.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you had the seriousness of, Evangelion, which was I hope no one catches me watching some scenes of this.
It's a weird one, though. We talked about this. How... It was absolutely bizarre that you had, something as heavy as Evangelion on at breakfast time. It was that's kind of hardcore viewing. I could see them possibly getting away with that in Japan, considering the kind of quote unquote kid shows we've seen are pretty damn dark and deep, but not Evangelion. I don't understand how that got away with being put on that time of the morning.
Yeah. And then obviously you had the comedy stylings of Martian Successor Nadesco, which did have its serious moments, but the whole thing itself is a comedy in itself. Have you ever read any of the manga of Nadesco?
No, I only ever watched the TV series and the movie. The movie I watched once. I still own it. I only ever watched once because once was enough. I said if I wanted to see another Evangelion hybrid, I would just watch Evangelion. It was one scene, though, that the other two guys at Cyberwits don't even remember, but I remember. It was two girls pretending they were in G-Force on a shuttle as it was leaving Earth's orbit, and everyone else was just staring at it and saying, what the fuck's going on with those two? That's the one scene out of all of this that I really, really liked. But the TV series of Nadesco is brilliant. The English dub of it, possibly not so much, but the show itself is pretty badass. I like it. But anyway, go on.
Well, yeah, those two series have quite a point, because that's when I started to look into actually buying some anime, like actually owning some. Well, back then it was like, oh my god, DVDs.
Yeah.
They're like small. They're like lighter VHS cassettes. And so I started buying up any anime I could get from ADV Films, which was what, next to Manga Entertainment, was one of the only anime companies that would actually release stuff over here. Which unfortunately, ADV Films, didn't they become bankrupt?
They overtaxed themselves. They thought they could be like this massive, huge franchise, and they sort of self-imploded. Yeah, they even had their own TV channel.
Really?
Yeah, we had a segment on it on Sky TV on a thing called Propeller, and it was the Anime Network. We had Anime Central in 2007, but before that, we had the Anime Network, and that was run by ADV, and it was a couple of hour segments. But I think in America that was a whole channel.
Right.
But that was at the peak of ADV, and they literally overtaxed themselves. They even had a manga division. They actually released mangas.
Oh yeah, I can tell you, like one of my first experiences at a convention was through ADV Films, because they're at the London MCM Expo, which I've been going to since around 2005. So that the point of like Evangelion and Nadesco, like those kind of shows got me into the anime through ADV, and then this is how I found out about going to actual conventions. The ADV stand was one of the most popular stands at the MCM Expo, and they sold loads of things that you don't really see these days. Like one of the weirdest things, I still have like the figures somewhere. They sold anime soap. So it was a bar of soap that had a little anime character. So, you know, like the old jelly bath stuff that had a dinosaur in it that you get from Sainsbury's. It was that, but it's like a bar of soap, you know. Give it to the convention goers. Go on, keep clean. Get a toy afterwards.
Oh, man. I remember the bars of soap that were actually molded to be like a character. Like you had like a Spider-Man. Somebody posted this on the YouTube Transformers community thing. I'll get that thing right eventually. YouTube reviewers, Transformers community thing. Somebody actually posted a picture of an Optimus Prime bar of soap, which was shaped as Optimus Prime. And I actually remember having that as a kid, like below the age of 10. I remember being given one of those, either as my birthday present or my Christmas present. It's kind of, when your birthday is so close to Christmas, as a kid, the memories kind of sort of merged and smudged together a little. So it was either Christmas or birthday, I got given a bar of soap with Optimus Prime. Technically the first Optimus Prime I ever owned. But yeah, so that was an actual thing that was inside a bar of soap.
Yeah, like a little chibi figures from a series I think called Noir, which I always remember seeing the trailer for on the DVDs, and it was like operatic music as girls with guns flipped over and aimed at the screen, and it was like, oh, these girls, they've got guns, and it's all noir. It's in France.
Oh dear. That's one I've seen. I saw it in the pages of Neo magazine, but I never got around to watching it or buying it, because before I learned such things as torrents, I used to literally buy everything in physical media. I still do that. If I like it enough and it's affordable, I will go and get it. You know, hence Kill la Kill's still not in my collection, even though I love it so much, because screw paying nearly 50 quid for a single volume. But yeah, it's just one of those things I just never got around to watching. Another one I've never really seen is Read or Die. It's another one. Yeah, that would have been ADV as well.
Yeah, I think I've actually seen Read or Die, because I signed up to, is it Crunchyroll?
Yes.
Yeah, a couple of years ago when I first got my first iPad. I signed up to the app and I was like, oh, I can watch anime on my iPad. And I would like just watch it on my breaks and stuff. And that actually brings me into an anime series that I'm still currently into, because as you get older, you realize that some certain tastes about things kind of change. And like, there's out of all the series that I used to follow religiously, I mean, the only series I really look into these days are One Piece, just because I love the character styles, the designs of that resemble actual celebrities and former celebrities. The fact that the lightning god in the Skypiea arc is more modeled on Eminem is fantastic. And one series in itself that I'm still actively interested in, because the second season has just been released, is Drew Rarara, or just Drew.
I still need to get past, I think it's episode 70 of One Piece. because it was one of those things where I'm going to seriously start watching this because I started reading the manga in the pages of Shonen Jump because I've got the app on my phone. And I thought, well, I might as well start from the beginning and start watching this. And then I realised there was like over 800 episodes. Yeah. And I was like, this is too much. So what I've decided to do with One Piece is they're going to do it eventually. They'll do like a condensed version. And if they do that, that's when I'll start watching it properly. Because, they must just, if they stick to the manga arcs, then it's a good chance I'll be able to watch it. And then I realised the manga arcs in themselves are in the hundreds.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I had to stop collecting the manga because I ran out of shelf space. Now, speaking of that with One Piece, they have actually turned some of the storylines into movies. So they've condensed certain points of the story arc into, like, about a 2-hour movie.
Yeah.
So that they're quite interesting in those points. But also with One Piece, next month in London, they're having the Symphony of One Piece at the Kando Hall in London, where they've actually got the orchestra that did the music for One Piece, and they're just going to be playing the music from the show and have clips of the show playing as they play the music, much like the Symphony of Zelda and Final Fantasy they did a couple of years ago. It's just really cool, and I'm actually going to it.
Yeah, I remember you tweeting to me about it, and I wish I could go. I really wish I could go, but it's like I'm paying things off, and I am going to London next month in February, but I'm going to like a reunion meet with some of the old Transformers community people from like a forum that's around, but it's pretty much dead now, called the Transformers.net. And we're having a bit of a little reunion bash together, and I'm going to that. I can't really do that and the other stuff and go to this thing as well. Yeah. But I love it. If they put out a version online and I can see it, I'll be happy to watch it because I love concerts. But I'd be having fun with that. That does look pretty cool. I know a guy who'd be really jealous of you, and that's Moon on Twitter. I won't plug his full thing because he hates being plugged. But he's got a huge chubby for One Piece. I mean, seriously, he keeps on bugging me saying, where are you at on the mangas now? Because I'm about nearly a year behind on One Piece now on the manga because I broke my phone last year, and it took quite a while for me to get a replacement on the insurance. Yeah. And in all that time, literally my reading of manga, because it was all on my phone, just dribbled away. And by the time I got my new phone, it was just an undertaking to try and catch up on all that manga. So I'm still gradually doing it. I think I'm just finishing the Don Flamenco arc now. It's something to do with a poisoned fruit or something, and this lady that turns people into dolls.
Ah, yes. You're catching up, sir.
Yeah.
Favorite crew member?
Favorite crew member so far? Well, pretty much a toss-up between Frankie and Zolo.
Oh, excellent. I love Frankie. Super!
Yeah. Having said that, I do love the sass that comes out of Sanji's mouth. He's pretty cool. But I'm not that far into One Piece to really say I like that person. Naturally, I completely hate Luffy with every fibre of my being. He's just as annoying as Naruto. Sorry! It's just my thing. Yeah, so that's that. I suppose we better use this as the proper segue to move on to the next question. What are you currently watching in the realms of manga and anime and all that stuff? Any modern day programming?
Well, as I was saying, Series 2 of Durarara has just started, so I'm up to date with that. And for people who don't know Durarara, and it's also cool just to say that over and over again, Durarara. It is a story about a group of teenagers and people in their 20-somethings in, like, Akihabara in Tokyo, and all the different kind of, like, gangs and even mystical people, like the headless fairy known as a Dularan, who has taken on the form of a headless motorcycling riding biker chick. And each episode is a different point of view. So the same storyline will act out over 3 episodes, but you'll get someone else's different point of view. And it's all about their different interactions with each other and how they affect other people. There's murder, there's thrilling action, there's amazing stuff, and people with like excessive strengths and different types of powers. It's a really good show. It started off as a novel, then it's become an anime, and they've been turning that into a manga as well. With the Durarara manga, they're on their 3rd collection of stories, and yeah, it's just a really good series. I really enjoy it. one manga that I actually picked up today is Jacko the Galactic Patrolman. Now, that sort of name, you're probably like, what's that? Well, leading back to Dragon Ball, it's Akira Toriyama.
Ooh.
Now,
right.
this has come out translated on the 19th of this month, so I think anyone will be able to get it through Waterstones. It's also available on the Shonen Jump app on the iPad, iPhone, and other tablet devices. It's a really funny story. It goes back to kind of Akira Toriyama's original works in comedy before all the fighting in Dragon Ball Z. The main thing to read it as well is because it is linked to Dragon Ball.
I think I remember reading it in Shonen Jump. Is that the one with the alien?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember it. The very last chapter of that, it doesn't scream it. It's not even subtle about it. It's all of a sudden, the characters you've been following for like 10, not 10 chapters, not 10 volumes. Yeah, it'd be chapters because volumes is when it's bound in the book. Everything you've been watching has been nothing more than a blinking prequel to Dragon Ball. Literally Dragon Ball. It's it's not subtle at all. It really isn't. It was just hey, one of these characters? Yeah.
But the other great thing about this book is it's come with the special bonus chapter with a story about Bardock and the day that planet Vegeta was destroyed. But we also get to see Goku's mum. It's never been put in the story before, even mentioned.
I just assumed that Bardock, Saiyans just reproduce by masturbating. Furious masturbating, and then they spawn a baby. Just that's the way I always think. That's we never see any mums. They only ever have natural born births when they go around and impregnate humans. I pretty much figured that was my headcanon because I'm wrong. You got to get to a special layer of Super Saiyan before you can literally spawn like a fully grown man. Oh dear, I'm so sick and wrong. Anyway, back to you.
But yeah, apart from that, those are the only series that I'm still technically following. I mean, other than that, shows that I've recently watched that were quite enjoyable were Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Another one. Don't tell Mikey he needs to watch that, for God's sake. He's had in the guts full of everyone so far.
There was even a movie they brought out, The Sacred Star of Milos, and that was really cool because I actually saw the UK premiere of it in London about 2 years ago now, and they actually had the lead director and animator for the movie over from Japan to do like a Q&A with fans. Unfortunately, the questions at this Q&A were, are you going to do a movie? Could you put this character in it?
Oh, for God's sake.
About 10 times. Like, nothing about, how long did it take to animate? Like, what was your references for certain characters and that? Like the film has a lot of different references, great train aesthetic, but also like vampires and werewolves and so many different things. But yeah, unfortunately, that's the kind of questions you get at conventions sometime. When will you make this? And then you will put this character in it because he is my favorite. Here is my fan art.
Did anybody at any stage say, can I please be in the movie? I don't speak a lick of Japanese, but can I please be in the movie? How do you get into voice acting in Japan? Oh my God.
No. Unfortunately, thankfully, no.
They reserve that for the English dub people, don't they?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh man. That just blows my mind. You get that all the time, though. I mean, you even get that with Transformers conventions when they do that. It says, oh, when are you going to have this person that only appeared in this thing? It's so relevant now. When are you going to kill him? When are you going to kill him so he's going to be like awesome and can buy like all his toys?
Well, I think my little addition to Auto Assembly last year may have well, for people who don't know, at last year's Auto Assembly, I was dressed up as Chrome Dome.
Yep.
And I was carrying around a cuddly rewind that I'd made. And I went to see Nick and James, and I just held him like he was dead. I was like, look what you've done.
And more to the point, when you were queuing up at the cosplay bit and you had poor old Rewind dead, how many people just sort of swooned around him?
I know. It was just like, ah.
Oh, dear. Well, it's been nearly an hour. It's probably going to be a bit less once I edit this down. But before we head out, there is just one well, there's two, but, the second one's not as important, purely just for my own sake, so I can, edit something cool at the end of the show. But the last bit of business is, and this is for anybody who may be listening via Oil House, there is a thing called Iocon 101, which is the place where all the bad stuff from the Transformers franchise gets put. I'm kicking open a section. I'm literally kicking it with this Doc Martens boot right now, and I'm opening up an anime section, or a tokusatsu section, or a manga section. Doesn't matter. So long as it's some kind of Japanese culture reference involved in it, I do not mind. Gruff probably will mind, because, that's where all the Transformers go to die, when you're not James Roberts. But, screw it. My show, my rules, there's a section for anime. The thing is, Jake, you can attempt to put anything you want in this, as in the one thing you choose to put in this that you really don't like, but I will fight you for it. And if I judge it worthy to go into Icon 101, then it will go in, and we'll have a nice little sound effect that depicts it going into the room. But if I don't agree with you, you get to keep it as a consolation prize. So, have you thought long and hard about what you want to put into room 101?
Yes, I have.
Then what is it?
It is. Now, what's the one thing that's always proven wrong when American people and companies try to make their own versions of anime? Dare I say Dragon Ball Evolution? Well, sometimes it doesn't work the other way. I'm talking about the anime version of X-Men.
Right, come on. Yeah, go.
Okay, right.
Go. Yeah, you're gonna have to explain to the listeners and myself why you do not like this.
Okay, now, like most of people here, I love the X-Men, the movies, the old 90s cartoon, but the anime version is just, the design of the characters is just, oh my god, and it takes a lot to make me go, ugh, but Wolverine's design, it looks like they just stuck his eyes on fuzzy felt, and then they've just given him a massive grin, and it's like, hello, Charlie, and then in the Japanese dub, he puts in some English, and it's horrible. The storyline makes no sense. We're going to capture some young mutants and then turn them into these weird, gloopy zombie robot mashups, and no, I don't like it. And just, they try to be a bit serious, a bit like, ooh, look at the mind bits with Professor X, but it's just something I've never really enjoyed.
Okay. I'm going to have to really think about this one for a second, because it's a Japanese anime. It was fully licensed by Marvel Entertainment in the US, so it was US licensed. It was also written by a Westerner. It was written by Rowan Ellis. So, from a production standpoint, it's a tough one. It's a really tough one. From an animation standpoint, I actually have no problem with it. To be fair, I haven't seen the full run, but I saw the first couple of episodes, and in all honesty, yeah, there's a few ropey bits here and there, but it wasn't too bad. Now, if you had said the Iron Man anime, that would have gone straight in.
I have not seen that.
It's not bad. It's not terrible. The English dub is a bit weird because it was mostly stunt casting. It was also the first instance where, I forget the guy's name. He's now General Talbot in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But his main bit of business, he's the official Disney voice actor for Tony Stark. So when Earth's Mightiest Heroes got cancelled and they brought in Avengers Assemble, it was him doing the voice of Tony Stark. It's him doing the voice in the Lego Marvel game. Mm-hmm. So everywhere else where you need a voice for Tony Stark, it's him. And I forget his bloody name now. But they brought in his brother to play Wolverine in an episode of Iron Man.
Right, okay.
The character, Peter Petrelli, he was brought in as Wolverine, and the dub just does not work. And the storyline, I'm just bored silly about, even though it isn't that far off from what Iron Man was like in the comics at that point. But I just found it boring. But the X-Men one, it's tough, because I can't really blame Japan so much for it, even though they animated it and they put it out. It was, for the most part, an American licensed product written by a Brit. You could also say that it made other parts of the world aware of the franchise. So even though it lasted 13 episodes or 10 episodes or whatever it was, it still made people very much aware that this thing was still a thing. It also made Jean Grey look fucking fearsome as the Phoenix. In that opening segment alone, she looked badass. So I'm afraid, Jake, I don't think I could put it in. I don't think I can't say whether it's a terrible anime or not because I haven't watched it all the way through. So it can only rest on my own judgment. And for the other reasons that I stated, I don't think it can be put in because anything that makes people aware that these comics, this franchise exists, can only be a good thing. Because if it makes them, in turn to the comics or turn to the movies, and in turn discover the Marvel Entertainment movies, that can only be a good thing. So sorry, no, that's your consolation prize. The fact that I'm handing this back to you.
I knew I should have gone with Legend of Superman Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, that would have gone in. That's already in, mate. So anybody who could possibly think about putting that in, that's already in. I'd put that in well and truly myself. You heard that, Grufflock? It's in there. Okay, I've put that in there. That's the first thing in Icon 101 right now, is that Turtles OVA by me. I put it in there. I forced it in there. It's wedged in there with a plunger. It's gone. But unfortunately, no, you're going to take that back home with you, I'm afraid. So, we're pretty much done. We're going to state again, where can people find you on the internet, sir?
Well, you can find me on Facebook under the group Jake's Cosplay Contraptions. So that's Jake's Cosplay, and then Contraptions, CONTRAPTIONS. Follow me at the moment to see progress on the Joker cosplay, as well as getting ready for Dragon Con in September. First time in America in 13 years. Will they be able to handle the Jakomania?
The Jakomania is running wild.
Oh, yeah, brother.
And finally, sir, how do you want this podcast to be closed down? Have you chosen a sufficient song somewhere in the Japanese culture you want to play us out with?
Absolutely. Now, with this piece of music, I am going back to Christmas of last year, 2014. One of the Christmas presents I got was Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods. Isn't it weird? We started on Dragon Ball Z, we're ending with Dragon Ball Z.
We couldn't have it any other way because it's you. You've got a scouter in a bloody... He's got a scouter in a bloody Saiyan suit, for God's sake.
This piece of music is the ending theme to Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods. And the reason why I picked it is when I was watching it, all these memories come back as you hear that music. The first time you saw the episode, the first time you saw Goku go Super Saiyan, the shock of Android 16's head being crushed by Cell.
Spoilers, by the way.
Spoilers, but hey, it's a really, really, really old show. The really bad fan fiction I wrote when I was 13.
How to get ahead in show business. Android 16.
The cosplay of Jace, the friendships and relationships that have been made from just hanging out at conventions, meeting people and going, hey, I like Dragon Ball Z too. The various video games, waking up early in the morning just to play Budokai 2. We are going to go out on Chala Head Chala by Hironobu Kageyama.
That's the same guy who did it in the original anime, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Oh, man. He also did the Headmaster's theme. And he's a member of Jam Project. I believe so. Is he still? Yay! I got that right. Hey, it's about time I did something right. So that's that. We're going to be playing that out, and that's pretty damn cool, to be fair. You're going to have to give me a link to the new version so that I can effectively put that out there. Just shouting out, if you like what you hear and you want to take part, just come over to Facebook. Join us on the Cyberwits Facebook group, and if you want to take part, just locate the thing. I might even put it up as a sticky on the top of the group. Make a comment that you want to join in, and we will pencil you in. And so long as you've got working Skype and an internet connection, we'll see what we can do. This is Time Lord signing out. Be excellent to one another, because we are all one. And toodles. Chala, head chala.
Spacking!
Spackling! How to balance a dinosaur upon a ball.
It can only be action all the way. Get ready for
抜け Fly away 体中に広がるパノラマ顔を蹴られた地球が起こって火山を爆発させる溶けた氷の中に恐竜がいたら玉乗りしこみたいね何が起きても気分はへのへのかったチャラへチャラ胸がパチパチするほど騒ぐ元気だなスタッキュ空を急行風とコースター落ちてゆくよパニックのその絵景色逆さになると愉快さやばさへお尻に見える悩む時間がないよどこかに潜む